Hello, my name is Jada Herring, and I am presenting to you my research practicum project for the Science and Tech program at Oxon Hill for the school year of 2020. So, the purpose of my experiment was to develop an antibacterial makeup solution. So, the purpose of that was to prohibit bacteria from growing on makeup brushes between uses because makeup brushes collect a lot of dirt and bacteria, and when that's transferred onto the skin, it causes a lot of skin issues like acne, skin irritation, and things like that. So the first thing I had to do for this project was prep all of my things. So in order to test the bacteria, I had to purchase agar. So most of my materials that I use in this project for the solution itself and to test the bacteria was it was hard to get them. One, because we are in the middle of a pandemic, so resources are very much limited. And two, I had to buy different types of chemicals and stuff like that. So I had to order them online. I couldn't just go to a store and buy it. I had to buy it from a lab or something like that. So the first thing I started with was prepping the agar to test the bacteria after I made the solution. So the agar, I just had to pour it in small little dishes. I use small clear dishes, and I had 6 of them. I was using 3 of them for the antibacterial solution, and then I had a store-bought mop cleanser to use for the other 3 to compare and see if it was more effective than the mop cleanser. So I poured the agar in all 6 dishes, and I allowed it to solidify after about an hour, and then I swabbed my dirty makeup brushes. The brushes that I used were all the same. I used 3 brushes, I believe, because I felt like the bacteria. No. Yes, I used 3 brushes. I felt like the bacteria will run out if I use the same brush over and over. So I used 3 brushes and I swabbed them and put the bacteria onto the agar dish. I used all 6 of the dishes, and the agar was used to test the bacteria. So after about 6 days, the bacteria had began to finally show up. I watched it every day, and it showed up at around about the 6th day, and then it stopped about the 7th day. I was just gonna let it keep going until I saw it stop. I took pictures about every day to see if it stopped or not. So it stopped about the 7th day, and that's when I knew that it was ready to add the solution in the mop cleanser. So when I added the mop cleanser, the mop cleanser and the solution, I put the 2 solutions into identical bottles so that I was able to use a dropper to insert it inside each dish. So I labeled the bottles as such. I labeled one bottle as the mop cleanser and one bottle as the antibacterial solution, which was the one that I created. I put different concentrations of the cleansers in each one. So for the antibacterial solution and the mop cleanser, I used 0.5 milliliters for one 1 milliliter for the other, and 1.5 milliliters for the last one. And I put the same amount of both things in each. So after about 2 minutes, after about a minute, the first dish began to dissolve with bacteria, which was the one with 1.5 milliliters and 1.5 milliliters of the antibacterial solution. It started to disappear very fast, and I was honestly surprised because it only took a minute. So the other one with about 1 milliliter took about a minute and a half, and the one with 0.5 took about 2 minutes. And for the mop cleanser, it didn't really take away any bacteria. It picked up some of the dirt and debris and dust and a few of the excess makeup that was left in there. But other than that, it did not take away bacteria at all, really. It My findings concluded that the antibacterial solution was effective in getting rid of bacteria on makeup brushes, and the other cleanser was not. So these were my results that I came up with. As you can see, the mock cleanser still had bacteria. It did pick up a little bit of the makeup and dirt, but it did not pick up much of the bacteria, which is the white spots that you see in the picture. In the antibacterial solution, you can see it picked up almost all the white spots, and within 2 minutes, all the white spots and some of the dirt and debris was left after. The materials that I used for this project were, most of the stuff was like chemicals, because I had to use stuff to make the actual solution, and then I had to test it. So for the solution itself, I used water as a solvent, sodium chloride as a binder, denatured alcohol as an estrogen and microbial agent, which was a very important ingredient, as well as dihydroacetic acid, which was the most important ingredient because it was the antibacterial. Sucrose laurate was the emulsifier and mild surfactant for those with sensitive skin, because even though this is a makeup brush cleaner, those makeup brushes eventually touch your skin, so I didn't want any bad effects on the skin. Benzoyl alcohol was a light fragrant and antioxidant. Witch hazel was another skin protectant. And for testing the bacteria, I was supposed to get Petri dishes. That was on my material list, but due to this pandemic and stuff, I was not able to find any Petri dishes online, and I'm not able to go in stores. So I just used something similar to it. I used small glass dishes. They were clear. They were basically the same thing, and they had lids as well. I used makeup brushes. The makeup brushes that I tested, they were dirty, stored for about 30 days. They were used. Cotton swabs, I used those to pick up the bacteria from the brush and put it onto the agar dishes. The agar was to test the bacteria, grow the bacteria, of course. The regular makeup cleansing solution, which is my mock solution that I use to compare, and the blotter paper was just to dry the brushes off. So I've already pretty much read my procedures to you. I've summed them up. I gathered all my materials, I mixed up the materials to make up my spray. Honestly, there weren't any precise measurements. I just kept doing it over and over until it seemed right. But this is not something, it's not like baking where every measurement has to be precise. I just put a little bit of everything. And if I felt like something was more important, like the antioxidants or the microbial or the disinfectant, I put more of that, of course, because those are the more important ingredients. And that was everything I did. The dependent variable in this experiment was the growth of bacteria. The growth of bacteria was measured by the concentration of antibacterial solution. The independent variable was the concentration of the antibacterial solution. And this experiment was done in duplicate, and there are different concentrations. I'm sorry, not duplicate. It was done in triplicate, and there were different concentrations of each solution. Right. And I've already stated my findings. In conclusion, I realized that my antibacterial solution was successful in prohibiting and preventing the bacteria from growing on the makeup brushes. I realized that even after I applied the solution to the agar dishes, I left them there for a little while to see if the bacteria would reappear, and it actually didn't. I was very surprised that it didn't, but I was ecstatic. Of course, I was really happy because that showed that not only did this product stop bacteria from growing between that use, it prevented it from growing back after just sitting there. And I knew it didn't grow back because I compared it to the other one, and it did not look the same at all. The other one started to reappear in bacteria. This is the end of my project. I would like to thank everyone who helped me and my mom for funding this, Ms. King Davis, Mr. Coloma, and Dr. Woodruff for all of your long-going assistance. I could not have done this without you guys. This project taught me a lot, and honestly, it was very difficult, but if I had to do it again, I would, because the amount of information that I learned was just incredible. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed.